Night. The Blaze program I have, I take very seriously. We did 3 this week. I've got the 2 Fox shows to do. I get up at 6 in the morning to do the monologue. And then we shoot it later in the afternoon. I am not complaining. I mean, I'm not a cop or a firefighter or a trucker. They have it really hard. But when people expect, did you get my email? Did you respond to my email? Have a little bit of common sense and understand that if I can, I certainly will. No question about it. But I am a little busy. I'll be right back. Folks, Israel is still under threat of attack every day, every minute of the day from Israel's enemies, terrorists who seek utter death and destruction. Here in America, we can't imagine what it's like to live in constant fear like this. But for the people of Israel, it's a very real, every single day event. Please join me. Show the people of Israel you'll help protect them in this time of attack and uncertainty. One of the best ways to do this is by supporting the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. Your gift, tax deductible, helps provide security essentials like bomb shelters, flak jackets, bulletproof vests, and so much more. It's a war scene. There's no better time to give them right now, after the Passover holiday, which celebrates Israel's historic deliverance and freedom. Give a tax-deductible gift, folks, to the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. Do it today. Help protect the people in the Holy Land. Call 844-866-IFCJ. 844-866-IFCJ. 844-866-IFCJ.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 6:30. I'm Heather Curtis. A traffic stop near Fair Oaks this afternoon turns violent when Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis says a driver pulled over for speeding opens fire on 2 officers, injuring them before a 3rd officer fatally shoots him. Davis says when the man was pulled over, he was
hostile, immediately argumentative.
Davis says the driver told the officers he was armed. He adds 2 officers told him to stop reaching for his gun before he took it out and shot them in their arms. A 3rd officer then fatally shot the driver. The officers are hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. This happening hours after Fairfax County Police responded to West Potomac High School in Bellhaven, where they say a 15-year-old student stabbed a 16-year-old classmate during a fight around 9:40 a.m. The 16-year-old's hospitalized in stable condition. The 15-year-old charged with malicious wounding. No word yet on what prompted the fight. Traffic and weather next.
Making sense of the border. Homeland security is right there at the tippy top of American concerns. WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon. You've got to be tough. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS.
SIDS?
You know, sudden infant death syndrome.
Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nichd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
Making sense of your world. Common sense. Let's get back to common sense. WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon. Now that should give you a lot of cause for hope. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
The Sean Ryan Show Peak Points. Get timeless inspiration from the very best of the Sean Ryan Show.
What do you think of working with the SEALs? We went out every night going after bad guys. I was humbled.
There was no going back home. I would be in another room crying because I was afraid to go to sleep because of what was coming for me in the middle of the night.
How long did it take you to be able to talk about
A long time. But I realized my experiences may help other people too.
the men like yourself are considered legends in the community?
You're right. The Sean Ryan Show Peak Points. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know. All without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected. Around-the-clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this stuff is going on behind the scenes and you don't know about it.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news. Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news. Clarity and context for a complex world.
I'm going to be far more thorough and specific than ever before.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news. Making sense of your world.
Greatly appreciated.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
I love listening to you.
Making sense of the news. WMAL, making sense of the forecast. Because you never know what Mother Nature has in store. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Mark Levin on the front line of liberty. Call in now. 877-381-3811.
I'm very concerned about colleagues of mine on TV, some on radio, I'm sure, keep telling us the Democrat Party is dead. You keep hearing that, Mr. Producer? Democrat Party's dead, America. Did you know this? Oh, yeah. They're dead. So don't worry about it. Most of the people who talk like this have no idea what the hell they're talking about. That party's not dead. The Marxists aren't dead. The Islamists aren't dead. They're just retooling. They're regrouping. They'll figure out what it is that they want to lie to us about. They'll figure it out. Who do you think is trying to block right now the Trump administration's agenda? And in some respects, they're being very successful with their judges. Does that sound like a party that's dead? This is a dangerous damn party. It is evil. It is evil. See, if you don't have dirt under your fingers from past campaigns or battles and so forth and so on, and I'm not talking about little campaigns, I'm talking about big presidential campaigns in the primaries and so forth, then you really don't know what the hell you're talking about. The Democrat Party is dead. Excuse me, what do we have, a 4-vote, 5-vote majority in the House of Representatives? We have 53 Republicans in the Senate. Does that sound like the Democrat Party is dead to you, America? It is an evil party. You don't turn your back on it. You don't give it the other cheek. You don't close your eyes and your ears. We're not Helen Keller, bless her soul. We're just not. And so this is an excuse not to put the dagger where it belongs, in the heart of that party. And so people chuckle, they dismiss them, they don't know what they're saying, they don't know what they stand for. That's true right now. But they will. And we'll hate it as much as we always have. They will. They will keep it up. Midterm elections coming up, if they take one or both houses, they'll see the Democrat Party's not dead. Their knives will be out. The point of their spears will be focused on us, in our faces. They'll conduct investigations. They will do impeachment. They will undermine the entire agenda. Oh, the Democrat Party's dead. Folks, even as a practical, rational matter, you don't have to be in the majority. You don't even have to be in a significant majority to gum up the works through the courts, to gum up the works if you have one house of Congress. Just because our guys don't know how the hell to do it, they do. They do. And their prosecutors, they'll be given the go-ahead. in the states and localities. That party is not dead. And those who keep saying it is are ignoramuses. That's what they are. It's not dead. It should be dead. I wish it were dead. It's an evil party filled with saboteurs. But I take nothing for granted. Nothing. We won one big election, and their party's dead. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I remember when they were losing a string of elections. I remember when it was said that the Democrat Party will never take the presidency again. I remember this. We had 2 terms of Reagan, 1 term of George H.W. Bush, then Clinton 2 terms, then his son 2 terms. It was, look at this. We had Reagan 2 terms. We had George H.W. a term. That's 3. We had 43. That's 5. They used to say 5 out of the 7 last presidencies, we won. Wow. I don't know how the Democrats will ever win. We control California. We have California. We have Texas. They can never win. Well, now they have California. And now they're trying to take Texas for immigration. This is what I mean. This is stupid. It's stupid. That party's not dead. It's crazy ass. They're fighting among each other, but they will find their footing. And when they find their footing, we are the target. We are the target. I heard somebody say today, Mr. Producer, that party's dead, period. How do you even say stuff like this? How do you even say stuff like this? Now, we should help them continue to fight with each other. We should expose every area of vulnerability. We should have our own strategies to deal with them. But when you have talking heads just dismiss it and just say things like, well, that party's dead. Look at this, AOC and this one. They don't know what they're talking about. And you might remember all the talk about how we're going to win this massive victory during that midterm election when we didn't. Everybody was saying we weren't, except me behind this microphone. I said, don't believe these polls. Don't believe these polls. And they were wrong. They believed the polls. I said, don't believe these polls in this last general election. Remember that, Mr. Producer? I said, I don't think it's as close as they say. But I said, it doesn't matter. Act like we're way behind. Who cares what I think or what the polls say? What matters is what's done. That's what matters. But the idea that the Democrat Party is dead forevermore is just ridiculous. Absolutely insane. While it's down, we need to keep kicking it. Politically, of course. You get my point. And as long as they're going to rely on Jasmine Crockett and AOC as the mouthpieces of the party, that's a good thing. We should encourage it. That's okay. But it's not dead. They're depressed. They're down. They're looking for a way out. They're flailing around. But they're lawyers. They're slip and fall, ambulance chasing, good for nothing friggin' lawyers. They're all over the place. They're trying to tie this administration into knots. They're violating the Constitution. Their judges are, with national TOs and temporary injunctions and other sorts of things. And I'm very concerned about the Supreme Court. Maybe we'll get a good decision from them one of these days. This last decision the other day was as stupid as it gets. 5-4 decision. Did you see that one, Mr. Producer? Supreme Court? Neil Gorsuch writing the opinion for the majority, joined by the Chief Justice, of course, and the 3 usual Stalinists. And what was the issue, America? 60 days. 60 days on voluntary deportations. The illegal alien says, all right, I'm voluntarily leaving. Now, why do they do that? For a lot of reasons, including the fact that they have the right to get back in line to try and come in legally. I think there's a 10-year period or something. If you're deported, you don't. And there could be other reasons. And so one of these guys brings a lawsuit. I forget if it's the ACLU or one of the ethnic front groups, but they're all funded enormously. All the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And they're arguing, does 60 days include Saturday? Excuse me? Saturday. What do you mean? Well, we believe they mean 60 weekdays, not calendar days. Or, better yet, 60 days, if you fall on a Saturday or Sunday and you're paying your taxes, Neil Gorsuch reminds us, it's the Monday afterwards in which they're doing things of that sort. Brilliant analysis. And so if your 60 days comes up on Saturday, like this guy's did, you don't have to leave until Monday. Now, let's just pull back a second. Why would the court take such a stupid-ass case? Who cares? But why would the court get involved to extend the time of a self-deporting illegal alien 2 or 3 more days? Not only is it so stupid with all the issues that we're facing in the judiciary to even take it up, but that means another illegal alien who comes in and says I'm self-deporting, and that illegal alien's 60th day is on a Friday, they're out. If you come in on a Saturday, you get 2 more days. So what do you think all these illegal aliens are going to be advised to get a couple more days, Mr. Producer, to come in on a Saturday, right? I mean, how stupid is this? Over 2 days. And Neil Gorsuch thought it was very important. He even wrote the majority opinion. That'll go down in history as a big one. My concern isn't even that case in and of itself. My concern is if that is the mentality, that the Supreme Court thinks it could literally interfere with the executive branch's process over whether or not an illegal alien who's voluntarily self-deporting goes on a Saturday or a Friday or a Monday, then where the hell do they draw the line when it comes to judicial tyranny here? It doesn't sound like we can even rely on him. We'll see. We'll see. We're waiting. We're waiting and waiting. We've got more judges doing more crap today. More stuff. It's unbelievable, this judicial tyranny. And it is a judicial tyranny. I guarantee you, all you have to do is look at the record. As these former federal prosecutors like to say, look at the record. Look at Madison's notes. Look at the notes that were taken at the ratification convention. Read them. Read the Federalist Papers. Read the anti-Federalist Papers. Read them. Read them. If you're going to go on TV and radio and comment on this, there is simply no way any of them would have voted for a constitution that gives this kind of authority to the Supreme Court or any court. Period. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know, all without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected.
Earlier accidents on 66 in the express lanes eastbound at Stringfellow Road now move to the left shoulder. Still some delays there. And westbound, you'll find delays in the Beltway to 123. More delays heading in towards Centerville. Also, you will still find slow-going traffic right now on 95 heading southbound between the Beltway and Woodbridge. More delays from Dumfries in towards Quantico. And 395 is heavy from the Pentagon to the 14th Street Bridge. And the freeway delays extend from the 14th Street Bridge over to the 3rd Street Tunnel. Accident activity still has Kirby Hill Road closed at 210 and Livingston Road also closed at 210. Follow police direction there. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch and Forecast.
Tonight, mostly clear, low around 54. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 80.
Around the clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this is going on behind the scenes and you don't know about it.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Searching HVAC near here.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Wow, nobody local? Huh.
Wait, what? We are an HVAC company literally in your neighborhood. Why is she not seeing us?
Just all the big chains. Well, it is what it is.
What in the... Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local HVAC providers. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Making sense of the border.
Homeland security is right there at the tippy top of American concerns.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon.
You've got to be tough.
News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news. Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
This is for you.
Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected.
Hey, I'm Reba McIntyre. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
You know, folks, with tariffs in place now, those cheaply made flags from places like China that easily tatter, that are sold by the big box stores, well, you don't want those, do you? Yet another reason you should be buying your American flag from Allegiance Flag Supply. You know whose prices aren't going to increase? Allegiance, because they source 100% of the materials for these beautifully handcrafted American flags right here in the USA. White ash poles from Vermont. Heavy-duty mounting brackets made in Pennsylvania. And yes, each flag is hand-sewn right in Charleston, South Carolina. Show your support for American workers like I do with an American flag from Allegiance Flag Supply. Go to showallegiance.com. Do this today. Use promo code Levin. Showallegiance.com, promo code LEVIN. You'll also get free shipping right now. That's showallegiance.com, promo code LEVIN, Levin. Get a real American flag made in America by Americans for Americans.
Making sense of your world.
I agree with everything you're saying.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
My heart just breaks for what's going on.
Making sense of the news. First thing each morning, O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on WMAL.
America's college. That's what Hillsdale is. It's what colleges used to be. It's the way college was thought of by the ancients. And not that long ago, in modern times, but not anymore. Not anymore. It is a gem. It is a diamond in the rough. History, economics, the great works of literature, the meaning of our Constitution. Maybe you studied these things in school. Many of you, depending on your age, if not. But even if you did, I think it's time for a refresher, don't you? Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free online courses. You don't have to pay $70,000 a semester to go to Harvard if you're due to be chased, threatened, victimized, or if you're not among a favorite class, to be racially discriminated against, where bigotry becomes righteous. They don't do those things at Hillsdale College. You can learn about the works of C.S. Lewis, who was a brilliant Christian layman and philosopher and writer. The stories of the book of Genesis in your Bible. The history of the ancient Christian church with Hillsdale College's free online courses. And I've been working my way through the Second World Wars taught by Victor Davis Hanson, a great man. And Hillsdale's president, Larry Arnn, Dr. Arnn, who is brilliant. This free 7-lecture course will give you a clear picture of why the war was fought. And no, it wasn't Churchill's fault. And how the Allied powers ultimately triumphed in order to save the West from a new form of tyranny. The course is self-paced, so you can start whenever you and wherever you want. So go right now to levinforhillsdale.com to enroll. That's LEVIN for Hillsdale.com. There's no cost. It's easy to get started. That's levinforhillsdale.com, LEVIN for Hills.com to register for free. I tell you about this site Mediaite. I tell you about it because it's a foil to me. It is an example of the entrails of the Democrat Party media, but it's not big enough to be influential. And so they want to create some kind of media operation, and it's founded by and run by, ultimately, Dan Abrams. Dan Abrams has multiple personalities. He pretends he's a real lawyer and a legal analyst. He's the Jerry Springer of these cable court shows. Then he runs this crap website. And on this crap website, it's drawn to my attention, again, that there's an article or a clip about Pete Hegseth, Mr. Producer, and his makeup artist in studio. Did you see that? And so this is very important to them. And I posted, and I thought to myself, okay, well, your great founder, the Jerry Springer of cable, a legal analyst, Dan Abrams, has the biggest wig on the top of his head than anybody I've ever seen. That's what it is. Guy's bald. I'm bald. So what? But obviously it affects his psyche. Because he went out there and obviously shot a couple squirrels, crazy glued them to the top of his head, and then he thinks you don't notice. Well, I noticed. So I thought to myself, how come you don't do an article about that? If you're worried about Pete Hegseth and makeup, why don't you worry about Dan Abrams and that massive fuzzball on the top of his head? Where's Colby? What's Colby's last name? Do you remember, Mr. Producer? Colby Hall. Hell. I know. And then he has a bunch of similarly-minded left-wing kooks who make easy money. Basically, taking headlines, stories, clips from everybody else. They sit behind their computer or on their iPhone while they're, I don't know, what are they doing? They have their big lunch, you know. Or maybe they're hanging out in the weeds somewhere. Maybe they're smoking weed for all I know. What do I know? But most of them are leftists. They got one guy, Shore, I think his name is, who's sort of transitioning. He's not sure. He goes from right to left to right. Very flexible, if you will. I think he's sort of a bi-journalist. Does that make sense, Mr. Producer? Meaning he's of two minds. What did you think of him? And so we're waiting for the great story on Mediocreite. Somebody will send it to me. I don't want to go there. On Dan Abrams and his wig. It's not even a hairpiece. It's bigger than a hairpiece. It's like a rug. But don't worry, nobody notices. These guys are so superficial. It's like this Jon Stewart. What's it? It's Leibowitz or Lipschitz? I can't remember. You don't remember either, Rick? What is it? It's John Leibowitz. No, he really changed his name because he didn't like his father. Yeah, we got it, John Leibowitz. Got John Leibowitz with a phony name. You got Dan Abrams with phony hair. And you got a whole site, Mediocreite, with a bunch of phonies, frauds, and low IQ morons. I'll be right back.
Making sense of your world.
I agree with you 100%.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
There's a lot of us out there.
Making sense of the news. Making sense of your world.
Common sense. Let's get back to common sense.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese. Weekdays at noon.
Now that should give you a lot of cause for hope.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of the media.
The news media is attacking him because this is what happens when you're a Republican.
Chris Plant. Weekdays 9 to noon.
Yeah, our news media, really.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Let's see. Something different for dinner. Searching restaurants near me.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Gee, same old, same old.
Wait, we're right here. Ma'am, our restaurant's just a few blocks from you. Why is she not seeing us?
Back to the usual, I guess.
Ma'am, can you not see us?
Nope. Because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants. You are invisible online. Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Making sense of the headlines. Making sense of your world. WMAL's Vince Colonnese.
Thank you for all you do on the radio show.
What a nice call. Thank you very much.
Weekdays noon to 3. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Around the clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this stuff is going on behind the scenes and you don't know about it.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Vince Colonnese is redefining news talk with The Vince Show.
Hi, I'm Vince Colonnese, host of The Vince Podcast. It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. I'm bringing you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories. We feature newsmaking interviews with the top guests on the whole planet. And I'll ask the questions you only dream of other interviewers asking. Do you like being informed, engaged, and entertained? Good. You are going to love Vince.
The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington. A Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 7. I'm Heather Curtis. A shooting during a traffic stop near Fair Oak this afternoon leaves 2 cops hospitalized and the man who allegedly shot them dead. Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis says an officer pulled a speeder over on Majestic Lane near Route 50, and the driver was combative and hostile. Davis said the driver told the officer he was armed. That officer and a backup cop told the driver to stop reaching for his gun, according to Davis, but
our gunman takes his gun out of the holster and leans back in his driver's seat and immediately opens fire.
He says a third officer shot and killed the driver. The other officers are believed to have been shot in the arms and have non-life-threatening injuries. A terrifying day for students at West Potomac High School in Bellhaven, where a 16-year-old was stabbed during a fight in a hallway involving 3 students around 9:40 a.m. Police Chief Davis says a 15-year-old suspect was taken into custody and charged with malicious wounding.
It's sad that he is 15, but we're working through the circumstances of his involvement as well as the involvement of others in this very active criminal investigation.
He says the students knew each other, but they're not sure what their relationship was. The knife has been recovered. The student who was stabbed is in stable condition. A change of tax revenue heart from Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich.
We can't keep up with growing needs and declining support from the state and federal government unless we have some resources to do it.
What was a proposal to raise the property tax could now increase the county's income tax from 3.2 to 3.3%. In a memo obtained by Montgomery Perspective and sent to the county council, Elrich hopes to utilize a recently approved state budget tweak to fund what's necessary.
If the council does not support these revenue changes, then we'll be forced to make cuts, either to the school system or to critical county government services.
The county executive adds,
and that's not a threat, that's just math.
According to the blog, Elrich's proposed income tax increase would apply to everyone. Scotland on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Most people stop getting cable TV to save money. But that was briefly not the case for local baseball fans.
After years of waiting, the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network, which carries both the Nationals and Orioles on TV, is now offering a streaming option for fans who have cut the cord from cable. The Masson package costs $89.99 for the entire season, but there was a snafu this week when fans started signing up. Their credit cards were charged $89.99, all right, $8,999. A Masson spokesman has apologized and assured the fans their refunds have already been issued. John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Harvard University taps a familiar attorney to lead its legal charge against the Trump administration for freezing its federal funding over the school's refusal to limit activism on campus.
Former Maryland top prosecutor Robert Hur, a Harvard grad, will represent the Ivy League school as one of its attorneys in a legal battle with the current administration. It was Hur's assessment of then-President Biden as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory that arguably pushed the snowball that led to Biden's dropping out of the presidential race. Harvard stands to lose about $2 billion in grants, though maintains a $53 billion endowment, while the White House says the, quote, gravy train of federal assistance is coming to an end. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
The faithful waiting hours for a chance to pay their respects to Pope Francis, who's lying in state in St. Peter's Basilica. Saturday's funeral begins 9 days of mourning with memorial masses around Rome and the world. The Basilica of the National Shrine will celebrate a special mass on Saturday at 4:30. Traffic and weather next.
Hey, weekend warriors, how's a little trail therapy sound right now? Hop in. Let's go for a ride in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Tune out all those work emails and turn up that twin-turbo V6 engine. Instead of letting the kids play online, show them some epic inclines. Turn your 8-person family dinner into an exhilarating off-road adventure. The all-new Nissan Armada is here. Intelligent four-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
When you're in HR, it can feel like nothing is easy. From payroll to PTO, from onboarding to benefits, and everything in between. It's a constant juggle of tasks, systems, and spreadsheets. But your HR software? That's the easy part. Meet Bamboo HR. Trusted by over 34,000 companies, it handles all your HR tasks, payroll, benefits, and time tracking, so your team and your company can grow as fast as, well, Bamboo. And Bamboo HR software is actually easy to use. One simple system that pulls all your people data together in one place, so you can ditch scattered systems and wasted hours on tasks that should only take minutes. Because when HR is easier, you can focus on what matters most, your people. HR is hard. Bamboo HR is easy. Ready to simplify all your HR tasks? For a limited time, get a $100 Visa gift card when you complete a free demo at bamboohr.com/gift card. Again, that's bamboohr.com/gift card. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
On 66 westbound at the Vienna Metro Station, a disabled blocks the left lane and traffic is jammed from the Beltway. More delays heading in towards Centerville. In Fairfax, Ox Road, southbound 123 is closed between Hampton Road and Morton Road due to an accident. And you will still find accident investigation activity in Camp Springs that has Allentown Road closed in both directions between Branch Avenue and Off Road. And in Oxon Hill, Livingston Road is closed between 210 and Cary Branch Drive, and Kirby Hill Road is closed between Indian Head Highway, that's Service Road, and Maryland 210 due to a long-standing accident. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
This evening, we're going to be mainly clear. Temperatures between 62 and 69 degrees. By morning, we're down to 50 to 58 degrees. Hazy sunshine with temperatures between 74 and 81 degrees. I'm 7 News Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson in the First Alert Weather Center.
Right now, 76 degrees in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on WMAL.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. You know, I hesitate to do this. Honest to God, I do. Mr. Reduce doesn't even know what I'm about to say. I hesitate to do this, but I've got to do this. And I don't know if this is an accurate report, but I think it is. NBC News' Melanie Zanone. Republican Senator Ron Johnson wants to hold hearings on what actually happened on 9/11. Senator Johnson said this week that he wants to hold congressional hearings on a debunked conspiracy theory. This is them writing this. About the 9/11 attack, saying there are an awful lot of questions, quote unquote, about the deadliest terrorist attack in U.S. history. Quote, there's awful lot of questions, Chair of the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigation said Monday in an interview with the conservative activist Benny Johnson's podcast. What actually happened on 9/11? What do we know? What's being covered up? Johnson said. My guess is there's an awful lot being covered up in terms of what the American government knows about 9/11. And asked if he plans to hold hearings, he said, I think so. There's a host of questions I'll be asking. As for further details, a spokeswoman for the senator told NBC on Wednesday that a potential hearing will depend on what information and documentation is obtained by our office. Now, I like Ron Johnson. I do. I've said I like him. I've had him on the program. He's a damn good senator, and he comes out of a tough state, Wisconsin. But I will tell him what happened on 9/11. The Islamist Nazis flew 2 airplanes into the Twin Towers. The Islamist Nazis flew a plane into the Pentagon. The Islamist Nazis wanted to fly a plane in either the White House or Congress, but were stopped by the brave men and women on that flight, and so the plane crashed in central Pennsylvania. That's what happened on 9/11. The issue of screw-ups and all the rest of it has been thoroughly examined. If he wants to examine that some more, that's fine by me, but I'm not clear on what he's talking about here. Are you, Mr. Producer? No. What actually happened on 9/11? What do we know? What is being covered up, quote unquote? I guess there's an awful lot being covered up in terms of what the American government knows about 9/11. I mean, go for it. But I think we know what happened on 9/11. I think what bothers me even more, rather than what he's talking about, and I'm not clear on what he's talking about or what it is that he wants to do, is what's happening right now with the Islamo Nazis and their obsession with having a nuclear weapon. Isn't this what senators and congressmen should be talking about? Isn't this what podcasters, broadcasters, bloggers should be talking about? Should they be taking this more seriously? I mean, am I truly the only one left, or one of the few who's left, who keeps banging the pots and pans about this? I mean, I am sick and tired of broadcasters on radio and TV who sit back, watch what happens, then they take a position, and then they claim they're leading the parade. That's not the way to think of your job. That's not the way to think of your responsibility. When you're behind a damn microphone or a television camera, take your job seriously. You want a little slapstick? There's plenty of that. Go for it. It's okay. Have a good time. I like to have a good time. But we have an enemy that's about to have a nuclear weapon, and I don't hear anybody talking about the damn thing. Instead, we're going to look back into 9/11 and see what the government really knew. Well, I'm telling you now what we do know. And we have a phalanx of individuals in our midst, among us, who want the American people to be dumbed down about it. Mike, why do you keep talking about this? What the hell? I mean, seriously? Seriously? The same types of terrorists who took down our Twin Towers in the Pentagon and killed our people in central Pennsylvania, they want a nuclear weapon, and people want to know why I'm talking about it right now. on, folks. The question is, why isn't everybody talking about it? And why aren't they at least mentioning it once a day? They don't have to do their whole show on it. Oh, I know. I know. There's a lot of fluff out there. There's a lot of static out there. It's a lot more fun. I got it. I really do. But I personally cannot live with myself. I can't live with myself if I use this opportunity that God has given me, that you have given me, to have one of the biggest megaphones on the planet, to play footsie. I can't do it. And I won't do it. Period. The bottom line to me on that issue, and I'll keep moving, I have other things. I feel bad for the Israelis because in the end, it's going to be left to them to deal with this. Hopefully with our support. Hopefully. But it's going to be left to Netanyahu. It's going to be left to his party and the other parties that have the guts to stand up. It's going to be left to him and them, even if we help them, to take point, and if we don't help them, to take the burden on themselves. And the excuse will be, by some of the people I mentioned earlier in this program and others, it's a Jew thing, an Israel thing, that's okay, drag us into war. I'm going to tell you something, folks. That 9/11 was not an exception. It was not. We experienced the greatest attack on our homeland ever. And it wasn't by the Japanese, World War II. It's not by the communist Chinese. It's not by the Soviets or today the Russians. It's by the Islamo-Nazis. And they want a nuclear weapon. And they want to take us out. They've told us they want to take us out. They did 9/11. They've done more than 9/11. It is beyond my imagination that we have people with microphones and TVs and video cameras and this, that, and the other pointed right at them to keep lecturing you about how this is not that serious, about how it's the fault of the warmongers. Warmongers? Wouldn't it have been great if people were speaking out before 9/11? Wouldn't it have been great if people were warning about attacks before 9/11? I am warning right now. And why do we hear crickets from almost everybody else? Why is that? Why is it? Because the Qataris spread money around America. Because the Iranians, through other sources, they spread money around America. Because the communist Chinese, they spread money around America. You heard this idiot senator from Kansas. I think his name's Marshall. He went from criticizing Qatar to having his head so far up their ass, it's not even funny. How does that happen? You know, they've contributed millions of dollars to the Medal of Honor Museum, Mr. Producer. Didn't I mention that once before? Qatar. We've had men and women die in the Middle East fighting terrorist barbarians. This is how it works. This is how it works. And you know what Qatar's doing right now, America? I told you I'll move off, but I want to say my piece. Qatar funded Hamas's attack on October 7th, and now Qatar is a mediator who we rely on. They're doing God's work, I heard. Not my God. Not your God. Now, that said, they're advising Hamas while there are mediators. That's interesting, isn't it? It's like under Biden, the Russians were assisting us in negotiations with Iran when the Russians are plotting against us. And here's what I read online, and it's by a reputable source. Qatar, what's the difference? Qatar is telling Hamas, you need to say that you will do a 5-year, 7-year, 10-year ceasefire in exchange for all the hostages. That way the hostage families support it. That way the West, which is desperate for a deal, I don't know why, it's not their lives on the line, it's the Israelis, and nonetheless, and we think even Witkoff might go for it. This is what I read online, which means Hamas will not be destroyed. I've told you this is the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the death camps. I had one piece of crap comment online that our soldiers didn't liberate any of the death camps. It was the Russians who came from the West who liberated the death camp. This is the kind of stupid, sick, American-hating, Jew-hating slobs that are out there. Preposterous. And the Holocaust survivors who were very elderly, even the youngest among them, in Poland today. They warned in a polite way, in a respectful way, in a loving way, the hostage families, that Hitler needed to be destroyed, that the Third Reich needed to be destroyed in order to save the Jews that were left. Because the left has gotten a hold of a lot of these families, telling these families, get a ceasefire, cut a deal, but Hamas will exist to attack another day, to organize, to build more tunnels, to raise more money for Qatar and the rest of it. That's what's going on right now with the negotiations with Hamas, another terror organization. See, I don't believe in negotiating with terror organizations. I believe in destroying them. They're called terror organizations for a reason. They don't follow the rules. They're not going to follow some signed deal. I thought we understood that with Obama. So ultimately, it's going to be left to the Israelis to take care of business. Hopefully with our support. They will be out front. They will be the point of the spear. And they will do what has to be done, I hope. Regardless of all the rest of it. Regardless of all the rest of it. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Hey, weekend warriors, how's a little trail therapy sound right now? Hop in. Let's go for a ride in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Tune out all those work emails and turn up that twin-turbo V6 engine. Instead of letting the kids play online, show them some epic inclines. Turn your 8-person family dinner into an exhilarating off-road adventure. The all-new Nissan Armada is here. Intelligent four-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
We're the stronger than we look type.
I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2.
The braver than you think type.
I have to take insulin shots every single day.
The type that will stop at nothing.
No more blood sugar tests.
Absolutely nothing.
No more complications.
Until type 1 becomes type none.
Support JDRF's life-changing research, and one day you'll say, I helped turn type 1 into type none. Join us now at jdrf.org.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Searching HVAC near here.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Wow, nobody local? Huh.
Wait, what? We are an HVAC company literally in your neighborhood. Why is she not seeing us?
Just all the big chains. Well, it is what it is.
What in the... Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local HVAC providers. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's disease research program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855-345-6237 for free resources.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
You heard the news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange and listed on the big board. Millions of Americans like you are joining our news revolution. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top 12 news brands in America. Even President Trump says it's terrific. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax, and its audience grew 50% since the same time last year. Millions really are making the switch to Newsmax. If you want to be a Newsmax share owner, call your advisor or get more info at newsmaxinvest.com. Stand with Newsmax today for a strong America. This communication is for informational purposes only and shall not be intended to or shall not constitute any offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such offer, solicitation, or sale would be unlawful.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you for what you do.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
You give me hope.
Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the roads. Because traffic doesn't always follow the pattern. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Hit it, baby.
Watching the walls from my head.
We'll get to the chorus a little, then we'll get right back to it, baby. Don't worry.
Just to myself, towards your domain. You can't really do it again.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Oh, yeah. All right, I can do this all day. I better not. By the way, I forgot to have it in the background. So we'll kill that right now. Dick Durbin has announced that he won't be running for office again, and America yawned. Little Dick Durbin's been in Washington 44 years. Can anybody tell us 1, 2, 3 things that he did that made a difference in our country? No, can't. Nobody can. That's why I call him Little Dick Durbin, the great state of Illinois, the land of Lincoln. Nobody can tell us anything this guy did. I told you the story with the late, great Senator Thompson told me, Tennessee. He said the most loathsome senator he ever dealt with was Dick Durbin because the man never kept his word. The man never kept his word. Little Dick Durbin. President Trump outside the White House today. You know, here's the thing. Man's got a lot going on, but you can see he's a patriot to the bone. A patriot to the bone. He sees things, he fixes things, he gets it done. Cut one, Mr. Producer, go.
Well, we thought you said you were going up to Walker Flat. What was going on? We're putting up a beautiful, almost 100-foot tall American flag on this side and another one on the other side, 2 flags up the line. And they've needed flagpoles for 200 years. It was something I've often said, they don't have a flagpole per se. So we're putting one right where you saw us, and we're putting another one on the other side on top of the mounds. It's going to be two beautiful poems. Paid for by Trump. They arrive in about a week or so.
The media wants to know who paid for it. That's why he said paid for by Trump. Guy's a great patriot. And not just because he's trying to secure the border. He's trying to get these loathsome foreign criminals the hell out of our country who are being defended by our courts under this rubric of due process. I'm going to get, you know what? I've got a big story on this. I think I'm going to save it for Saturday or Sunday. A huge story on this. I just dug it up. I said, that's right. And so I think I'm going to expose something. I mean, it's been out there a little bit, but I think I'm going to help expose something. That's what I'm going to do. This due process issue. If you dare to question, hey, you don't support the Constitution, you don't support due process? I mean, come on now, Mark. They let millions of people in here illegally to brutalize us, to take resources out of our economy. Millions of people brought in here, some significant percentage sold into sex slavery, little children and women alike, perhaps men too. And I'm supposed to sit here and worry about some MS-13 wife beater. Oh no, please do tell. Please do tell. Like I give a crap about that guy. Neither do they. They don't care either. And as we learn more about this guy, and then he's in a car with seven aliens that don't have papers, with another guy who's known to be a trade in humans. Oh, wait, what happened to Mr. Maryland?
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. You'll get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. And for just $20 a month. Here's Veronica and Jackie. Great customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before. Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
And now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free when they use promo code SECONDFREE. Just call, click, or bring us your bill and see how much you can save. Because when it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and use code SECONDFREE to get a free second month. Real people pay to share their opinions, and this ad plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Maryland side of the Beltway in Montgomery County, Inner Loop is slow between Rockville Pike and New Hampshire Avenue. In the College Park, the Inner Loop is stop and go from 95 Interchange to Kenilworth Avenue. Into Largo, Inner Loop of the Beltway, there is a crash. It's in the left shoulder at Central Avenue. Traffic is slow from Route 50. On the outer loop of the Beltway in Greenbelt, stop and go between the VW Parkway and the Greenbelt Mark Metro Station exit. And back in Montgomery County on the outer loop, you'll find it slow from New Hampshire Avenue to Georgia Avenue. And now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Tonight, mostly clear, a low around 54. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 80.
Vince Colonnese is redefining news talk with The Vince Show.
Hi, I'm Vince Colonnese, host of The Vince Podcast. It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. I'm bringing you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories. We feature news-making interviews with the top guests on the whole planet. And I'll ask the questions you only dream of other interviewers asking. Do you like being informed, engaged, and entertained? Good. You are going to love Vince.
The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Making sense of your world.
This is a conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of your world.
Common sense. Let's get back to common sense.
WMAL's Vince Colonnade, weekdays at noon.
Now that should give you a lot of cause for hope.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of the border.
Homeland security is right there at the tippy top of American concerns.
WMAL's Vince Colonnade, weekdays at noon.
You've got to be tough.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of the headlines. Making sense of your world. WMAL's Vince Colonnade.
Thank you for all you do on the radio show.
What a nice call. Thank you very much.
Weekdays noon to 3. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. Cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Making sense of your world.
I can't believe this.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
And I am so with you.
Making sense of the news. WMAL, making sense of social media, because big tech can't be trusted. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Mark Levin, the great one.
The great one, Mark Levin.
Dial in now, 877-381-3811.
So they're after Hegseth now. They were after Tim Walsh. 4. Waltz, not Walls. Mike Waltz. Sorry there, Mike. I wouldn't do that. Anyway, you can see we're living in uncertain times, but I want to play something, Mr. Producer. I want to go to cut 5. Mike Worth happens to be a friend of mine. He works at a car dealership, but this is a different Mike Worth. Mike Worth, he's the CEO at Chevron. And he was on CNBC yesterday. He might know a little something about the economy, being the CEO of Chevron and all the sales of fuel and so forth. Cut 5, go.
You don't think we're headed into a recession in your plans at this point?
You know, there's no signs that we see at this point that we're in or close to a recession. There are signs that growth may be slowing. And again, we have to always be prepared for that. But ours is a long cycle business. The capital we put to work in our business isn't there for just a few years. It's typically there for decades. So we really have to take a longer view and not get buffeted too much by short-term market movement.
And the Democrats are desperately trying to push this nation into a bad place. So are their media. And I'm wondering about this guy, Powell, the head of the Fed. You know, it amazes me. Again, they circle the wagons to defend this guy. They defend him because Trump criticized him. That's all. But it was the Fed that got us into the Great Depression, as I've explained, as Milton Friedman and Anna Schwartz wrote in a fantastic and extensive analysis in their book. It's what really made Milton Friedman famous in many respects. And how they tightened the money supply. Now, they haven't tightened the money supply. Rates are okay, but rates could be better under circumstances like this. I actually believe, and I mean this, that the Federal Reserve should be abolished. I understand that gets complicated. I understand I'm swimming against the tide and all the rest of it. But we had a Federal Reserve. It was created in the early part of the last century. And it's an incredibly lousy job of, quote unquote, managing the money. Its main purpose is to ensure that there's sound money. Sound money. The money's not sound. They created the biggest depression in American history. And sometimes you got to start over. It's not radical. That's not crazy. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't trust this guy, pal. Not because Trump doesn't like him, because I don't trust him. Because I've watched what he's done. And I think in part due to them, we're living in uncertain economic times, market volatility and instability, things of that sort. But in any event, folks, this is why diversification is important. You can't just surrender to these things and say, oh, well, what the hell can I do? In your own life, there's a lot you can do. In your own life, there's a lot you can do. I talk about diversification. That is key. You don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say, and they're right. And to me, you need something physical. You need physical gold. Some people like silver. I like gold. And I like Advantage Gold. I consider them the best of the gold companies. And they have these seminars from time to time because they're very popular, because you folks asked for them. And they're going to have one on April 30th. April 30th, which is 1 week from today, at 7 p.m. Eastern. They call it their Gold and Silver Summit. It's an exclusive event. It's backed by popular demand. Some people participated in the last one or two of them. I would encourage you to do it. There's no obligation, but there are limited spots because the technology can only take so many people. And you can be there live. I don't mean physically there live. You could be there live virtually. Weird language, isn't it? But it's the language of the time. So you can be there live and watch and participate if you wish, virtually. So you've been thinking about gold, you've been thinking about diversification, you've been thinking about protecting your assets. This is the perfect event for you to attend virtually. That's April, that's April 30th, next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, for the Gold and Silver Summit. They're giving away up to $100,000 in free silver. Each person can claim up to $1,000 in free silver, plus $300 in bonuses, but only if you qualify. So what's the catch? You have to attend the live event, virtually, to learn how. So don't wait until it's too late. Text MAGA to 85545. Text MAGA to 85545. Text right now. You got to reserve your spot. No joke. Text MAGA to 85545. It could be one of the most important financial decisions of your life, so you might as well get as much information as you can. Again, that's text MAGA to 85545. Message and data rates apply. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. J.D. Vance is in India. He's on the tarmac today. Perfectly legitimate question. It's a question that's on all of our minds. Cut 6, Mr. Producer, go.
Omar Abrego Garcia's wife has been very vocal about how she doesn't think he's getting due process, and she now
Isn't that funny how Becky Quick, a so-called reporter, doesn't mention how she also filed a public form, that her husband beat her? And isn't it the case that sometimes, or if not often, psychiatrists can tell us, that when women are treated this way, sometimes they're the biggest offender of their husband? How come nobody's talking about that? And so they use the wife, who's a victim of this guy, who was beaten by this guy on more than one occasion. His wife would really like to get him back, you know. She doesn't think he got due process. Oh, okay. We'll bring him back, and we'll do what the wife says. Is that how that works? Go ahead.
Safety. Do you have a message to her specifically?
Well, I don't have a message to his wife. I mean, look, I just disagree with the idea that he hasn't been offered due process. He had a couple of immigration hearings. He had a valid deportation order. I think this idea that somehow that we couldn't deport an MS-13 gang member, and he was an MS-13 gang member, is preposterous. And I think there's actually a deeper issue going on, which is that you see some radical judges at the district court level who are trying to layer so much quote-unquote process on top of the immigration system that it makes it impossible to function. We have over 20 million illegal aliens in the United States of America. Are we not allowed to deport them? Because if we're not allowed to deport them, then what these district courts are saying is fundamentally they reject the will of the American people as it was expressed in November of 2024. We just reject that. I believe the American people elected President Trump to do many jobs, but perhaps the most important job was to bring down the number of illegal immigration in this country. That's what he's trying to do. We're going to keep on doing it.
And it's not past time for Congress to do more than push legislation to limit these national injunctions. I don't even know where that sits now. I guess it sits in the Senate where everything sits. This drives me nuts too. Is nothing a priority? We're sitting around waiting. We're sitting around waiting for tax cut.
That's fucking weird.
To help really get the economy kicking. Here we wait. We have our process. Well, move it up, for God's sakes. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Well, we can't agree. Well, you better agree. We're all going to go down with the ship. It's frustrating for we, the people out here. Very frustrating. And that is. Why is there any serious pushback by Congress? I got it on the national injunctions. But it's worse than that. It's worse than that. You know, to take this guy Boasberg, who was told by the Supreme Court you don't have jurisdiction, who will not give up jurisdiction. And eliminate his job. Eliminate it. That's what you do. Eliminate his damn job. Well, we this and we that, we this and we that. The Democrats, you know, they never stop. Our guys are, excuses. Landmark Legal Foundation. I used to be president, I used to be chairman. Now I'm what they call chairman emeritus. I was there a long time, and on January 1st, I said, it's time to retire. And I retired. But these are my buddies. The president, Hutchison. We've got Matt, we've got Mike. They're my buddies. I've known them for decades. And so they just sent me a filing from today with the appellate court, the D.C. court, that they filed, District Court of Appeals. And they filed this because we're involved in a case. And this case was the case in which we've talked about here, the case in which a court orders to be in writing, particularly when you're dealing with a large bureaucracy. And this judge is already jumping to try and do contempt here. And but in order to have actual notice, it's to be in writing. And so I want to read something to you after the break from this filing that was filed today by Landmark Legal Foundation involving this Judge Boasberg and these Venezuelan terrorist gang members. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. For a local news source you can trust, visit WMAL.com.
Thank God for that.
Get the day's top stories, stream your favorite WMAL shows, access our podcast archives, and more. WMAL.com, making sense of your world online.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Making sense of your morning.
Lots of coverage here on that developing story.
O'Connor and Company. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Larry O'Connor here getting you through your morning.
Making sense of Washington.
Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions.
Making sense of the double standard.
Then here's the latest example.
Making sense of the headlines.
Let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Mornings from 5 to 9. News Talk 105.9. WMAL. Making sense of the news.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Making sense of your money.
The state of the economy, the ability to afford your life. That's what people want.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades. Weekdays at noon.
The kind of thing I pay attention to, I'm looking at.
News Talk 105.9. WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
This is for you.
Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected. Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know, all without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected. Did you know that other organization supports LGBTQ rights? That's right. That other so-called senior advocacy group is pushing a radical left-wing agenda. They've been in bed with the left for years. That's why I stand with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. It's the conservative alternative, and they're fighting to protect the America we grew up loving. Anyone can join AMAC regardless of your age. That's right. You don't have to be 50 or 60, but they want every freedom-loving American in the fight. And right now, AMAC is offering a 5-year membership for $31. Normally it's $60. That's a 47% off. But this offer ends on April 30th. And your $31 doesn't go to some woke nonsense. They help AMAC stand up for your values across this great country. Oh, and did I mention you get fantastic benefits and discounts like nowhere else? Go to amac.us/Levin right now. amac.us/LEVIN. That's amac.us/Levin. Join the fight for America's future. Making sense of your world.
Talk radio is where I get all of my information.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of mainstream media. Because the double standard is real. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
You know who this is, Rich? Earth, Wind, and Fire. Come on, where you been, man? What's wrong with you? All right. By the way, America, always a friendly reminder, you can hear us anywhere, anytime, wherever you are or not. We are everywhere. They can't stop us, even if they try. Go to Mark Levin Show, click on Audio Rewind, select your favorite podcast platform. If you already have a favorite podcast platform, just search Mark Levin Show. There we are. We also have our own YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and Mark Levin Show, or better yet, just search Mark Levin Show at YouTube. We're also we have our apps, Mark Levin app, iHeart app, Sirius XM radio, AM, FM, whatever, everywhere. Airport radar, sonograms. That's right. Sonograms. People are taking sonograms, and there I am, Mr. Producer. I pop up thinking, what the hell is that? Just me. Let me read you some of this while I can. This is from Landmark's filing today in Federal Appellate Court, the court that oversees Mr. Bogsberg, so-called judge, signed by Richard P. Hutchison, also involving colleagues there, Michael O'Neill and Matt Forays. The law firm of Hutchison, O'Neill, and Forays. Let me get to the gist of this. Hold on now. Defendants' appellants rely on Landmark Legal Foundation's case. In 2003, that is, the Department of Justice relies on our case, as controlling precedent that defendants are under no judicial compulsion to comply with injunctive relief until the relief is recorded in writing. Indeed, defendants' appellants note that the 7:25 p.m. minute order issued by the presiding judge did not contain language referenced in a hearing held earlier that day. Specifically, defendants' appellants, Department of Justice, note the presiding judge's oral statement, quote, to turn around planes or to return already removed aliens, unquote, was not even present in his order. The importance of memorializing an injunctive order, putting it in writing, to ensure compliance is demonstrated in Landmark Legal Foundation versus the EPA. That's the 2003 decision. As plaintiff in that case, amicus curiae, friend of the court, Landmark, is in a unique position to provide the factual context underlying a district court's decision to not hold a high-ranking government official in civil contempt, and I would add, for God's sakes, criminal contempt, including providing a true and accurate copy of the hearing transcript wherein the district court notified the parties that it would issue an order enjoining the EPA. He doesn't have it, the judge. The facts underlying Landmark are not complicated. Landmark submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to the EPA, seeking agency records relating to the issuance of regulations, slated to be issued in the final months of the Clinton administration. The EPA dragged its feet and responded to Landmark's request, prompting the initiation of a lawsuit. The imminent conclusion of the Clinton administration, coupled with concerns that potentially responsive information could be destroyed during any transition period, spurred Landmark to seek a preliminary injunction enjoining the EPA. Shortly thereafter, on January 9, 2001, Judge Royce Lambert, acting as the emergency judge for the District of Columbia, presided over Landmark's preliminary injunction hearing. At the conclusion of the hearing, the following occurred. The court, this is the court talking to the assistant U.S. attorney defending the Clinton administration against moi. The court, I'll tell you, I don't think there's anything else you can say that's going to keep me from entering this preliminary injunction, he says to the assistant U.S. attorney. I think in light of all the violations that we've seen here, the court should not give the presumption of regularity to the agency to think the agency will carry out its duties here. They kept destroying records. The plaintiff's motion for a preliminary injunction is granted. The court will order that agency take steps to ensure the preservation of any of this information. I'll issue a written order this afternoon based on the hearing we had today. Mr. Humphreys, the assistant U.S. attorney, says, okay. The judge says the EPA is enjoined from transporting, removing, or in any way tampering with any information potentially responsive to Landmark Legal Foundation's FOIA request. Mr. Humphreys, okay. I want to get clarity from the court. Yes, you said that. If you just read that order, Judge, one more time. The court, I'm reading their motion from their proposed order. The only thing I may add to their proposed order, this is our proposed order, is EPA and its agents and officials to make sure that people understand they're personally accountable to the extent they learn of the order. To the extent they learn of the order, which he says will be reduced to writing. So to the extent they are aware of the written order later in the day. You with me, Mr. Producer? Court says I'm reading their motion from their proposed order. The only thing I may add. Okay. The assistant U.S. attorney says, all right, so the extent of the order is basically just not to move, tamper, or transfer the documents. The court, yes. Mr. Humphreys, and that's the extent of it? Right, pending further order of the court. Mr. Humphreys, well, thank you very much, Judge. The court, I'll consult with Judge Roberts. That doesn't matter. That's another judge who was handling part of the case, and Lambert took the whole case. Anything else the plaintiff wants? He asks Mr. Hutchison, asks him, the attorney for Landmark, now the president. Not at this time, Your Honor. Thank you. And is this, will you be adding the language? Yes. I'll have a written order shortly. I've got another hearing with 34 lawyers in the next courtroom. I will have a written order shortly. And he wrote it. And he put it in an order. We sought to have the EPA, the administrator, and their officials held in contempt for the period before the written order went out for ignoring his oral order. The judge said, I can't do that. It had to be reduced to writing in order to give them proper notice. So anything they do from the moment that written order was issued is one thing, contemptuous. Anything they did before, I really can't hold them in contempt. That's what's going on today.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you for your clear insight.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
This is a major wake-up call.
Making sense of the news.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Vince Colonnese is redefining news talk with The Vince Show.
Hi, I'm Vince Colonnese, host of The Vince Podcast. It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. I'm bringing you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories. We feature news-making interviews with the top guests on the whole planet. And I'll ask the questions you only dream of other interviewers asking. Do you like being informed, engaged, and entertained? Good. You are going to love Vince.
The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, professional race car driver here with cab driver Artie.
Professional cab driver.
Sorry, professional cab driver Artie. Drinking responsibly is knowing your limits. If you are over yours, ask Artie.
I was just doing something.
To learn more about drinking responsibly, go to beforeyoudrink.org.
So, you think I could take your number 26 Crown Royal race car for a spin?
Did you get out of there?
Yo, Charlie, I'm getting sick of you. Paul wasn't using your mother's pick. You know what? We're going to get this straight right now, Charlie. Because you pissed me off today, boy. You fucking pissed me off. They fucking sit there and they commute. He's right in with Rum and Whippermano and all of them doing that. And you sit there and you gave them credit again today, Charlie. You want to say we're battle buddies. He's my enemy. All those British people are my enemy. I'm not friends with those people, Charlie. I wasn't using your mother's picture. Yeah, he is. He's communicating with people who are doing it. He's friends with them. He's in Rusty's camp. You dumb fucker, Charlie. You understand what I'm saying, Charlie? I'm going to give you one more chance, Charlie. You fucking do that to me again, I'm blocking you. Everywhere. I won't want to see you. You fucking do that to me again. I'm not kidding, Charlie. I'm fucking dead serious. Yes, he is using my mother's pick. And he's fucking lollygagging with the fucking people doing it. And it's not the fact that they're using my mother's pick. All right? And you did it with logical. Like, I need to make peace with that stupid fuck. I'm serious, Charlie. I'm serious. If I were face to face with you, I'd fucking just come unglued. Don't do it again. I'm sick of it. You're just giving them ammunition when you do that. Then you come in here and make like we're buddy. I'm serious, Charlie's brother, Electrocutus, whatever your real name is, needs to fucking straighten up. I'm fucking dead serious. I'm going to go make dinner and I'll be back later. I'm going to end this stream. If you can hear me, I'm ending it. I'll be back later. Because, Charlie, you got me pissed, so I got to leave. I said what I said. That's what I've been waiting for you to fucking show up. Don't ever fucking do it again, Charlie. Why does that guy keep doing that? That's odd. Anyways, I'm going to go make dinner.